In a future where Earth's population has skyrocketed to a staggering 8 billion people, the planet is on the brink of running out of energy and vital resources. With only 5 years left before everything is depleted, nations are gearing up for war to claim what's left. In a desperate bid to avert this global catastrophe, countries unite to create a massive space station called Cloverfield, home to the groundbreaking Shepard particle accelerator. If this machine works, it could provide endless energy, saving humanity from its dire fate. To ensure its safe operation, the accelerator is placed aboard the space station for testing. Recognizing the gravity and complexity of the mission, 7 experts from around the world are chosen to carry out these crucial experiments. Among them are Ava, a British correspondent, Mundi, an Italian handyman, Keel, the American commander, Monk, a Brazilian doctor, Volkov, a Russian responsible for life support, Schmidt, a German physicist, and Tam, Schmidt's girlfriend, and a brilliant engineer from China. Together, they embark on a perilous journey, holding the fate of the world in their hands. Time seems to fly by, and before they know it, the team has spent 2 grueling years aboard the Cloverfield space station. Despite their best efforts, every experiment they've conducted has ended in failure. One day, Ava wakes up from a restless dream, her anxiety reaching a boiling point. She video calls her husband Michael, only to learn that Earth is spiraling into chaos. Wars over oil are escalating, and Russia is on the brink of launching a devastating invasion that would deplete even more resources. Back on the space station, the situation is equally grim. They have enough fuel for just 3 more attempts to get the Shepard particle accelerator working. The pressure is immense. If they fail, Earth's future looks bleak, a thought too horrifying to even contemplate. As one experiment after another falls apart, a sense of dread and tension permeates the space station. The world watches with bated breath as they prepare for their 47th test. Amidst the global anticipation, a writer named Mark offers a chilling theory, the Cloverfield paradox. In simple terms, if the Shepard actually works, it could tear through the fabric of space-time itself, causing multiple dimensions to collide. This would result in a chaotic mix-up between parallel worlds and our own, unleashing unimaginable horrors like monsters and demons. The stakes couldn't be higher, and the team is racing against time, haunted by the potential consequences of their actions. Despite Mark's ominous warning about the Cloverfield paradox, everyone's attention is laser-focused on the Shepard's operation. The moment arrives, and as the machine fires up, a brilliant burst of purple light fills the space station, which starts to quiver intensely. For a brief moment, it seems like they've succeeded. The Shepard is working. But just as cheers of triumph fill the air, the purple light vanishes, glass breaks, and a mysterious force yanks everyone towards the ceiling before slamming them back down. Suddenly, the Shepard's cabin bursts into flames. To make matters worse, the fire suppression system is offline. In fact, nearly all the space station's systems have malfunctioned due to the incident, leaving Ava unable to reach Earth for help. But then, something even more bizarre occurs. Earth itself seems to have vanished. Despite scouring every camera feed on the space station, they find no trace of their home planet. The horrifying reality sets in. They are the only 7 humans left, floating alone in the galaxy. But the nightmare is far from over. First, they discover that the gyro, crucial for the space station's positioning, has gone missing. Then, an eerie cry echoes from outside the space station. Upon investigating, they pinpoint the source of the sound to be behind a wall. What they find when they tear it down leaves them utterly stunned. An injured woman is trapped there, entangled in a web of electrical wires. Even more shocking, she knows Ava's name. The team is left grappling with haunting questions. Who is this woman, and how did she end up trapped behind the wall? Meanwhile, back on Earth, Michael is jolted awake by the sound of a nearby explosion. The immediate thought on everyone's mind is that war has finally broken out. Yet the government insists it's not war, although they can't explain the source of the explosions. Up in space, the team manages to rescue the mysterious woman, though she remains unconscious. With the gyro missing, they're lost, unsure of their location in the cosmos. But the series of unsettling events doesn't stop. Volkov experiences something horrifying. One of his eyeballs shifts to the side before returning to its normal position. He's utterly unnerved. Even worse, he starts hearing voices. No one knows what or who he's hearing, but it leads him to grab a gun and confront Schmidt, accusing him of being a spy for German intelligence. Just as tensions reach a boiling point, Volkov starts foaming at the mouth. To everyone's horror, a swarm of revolting worms burst out of him, worms that had previously gone missing from the space station's lab. Volkov's shocking death sends ripples of dread through the crew. Amidst this chaos, the mysterious woman finally regains consciousness. She remembers her name is Mina and claims she's been on the space station for 2 years. She recognizes everyone except Tam and says she's the sole engineer of the Shepherd. In this reality, Ava is supposed to be a coordinator back on Earth. Mina also whispers a warning to Ava, don't trust Schmidt, as he's the one who sabotaged the Shepherd. Taking Mina's words into account, Keel deciphers a message from German intelligence directed at Schmidt. The message instructs him to keep the Shepherd offline until Russia is neutralized. The atmosphere grows even more tense, as trust among the crew starts to unravel. Schmidt vehemently denies ever receiving such orders from German intelligence, but Keel, now fueled by suspicion and anger, isn't willing to hear him out. He locks Schmidt away without another word. Just when they think things can't get any stranger, the space station has other plans. Mundy's arm is inexplicably pulled into a wall. Hearing his cries for help, Keel and Ava rush to his aid. When they manage to free him, they're horrified to find that only half of his arm remains. Oddly enough, there's no blood, and Mundy feels no pain. Meanwhile, the door to Schmidt's makeshift prison swings open on its own. Cautiously, he steps out, finding the area deserted. Then, something catches his eye. He calls the others, and when they arrive, they're met with a sight that defies logic. The missing half of Mundy's arm is crawling across the floor. Schmidt brings up the Cloverfield paradox, echoing Mark's earlier warning. The bizarre occurrences can be explained by the collision of two separate worlds in the multiverse, fighting for the same space. Just then, Mundy notices his severed arm is writing a message on the ground. As unbelievable as it sounds, the message instructs them to cut open Volkov. With a sense of dread, they follow the unsettling directive and make a shocking discovery. The missing gyro is inside Volkov's stomach. It appears that the collision of parallel worlds caused both the gyro and the missing worms to end up inside him. Armed with the newly found gyro, they finally manage to pinpoint the space station's location and, to their immense relief, locate Earth. Just as they start to regain a sense of direction, a message from Earth shatters their fragile hope. The message reveals that a European war has been raging for over a year, and their version of the Cloverfield space station has been destroyed, with all 6 crew members dead. This means that Mina, the mysterious woman they found, is the sole survivor from that alternate space station. Schmidt has an epiphany. They're not just dealing with intersecting dimensions. They've actually traveled to another dimension altogether. In simpler terms, they've time traveled. The urgency becomes crystal clear. They must repair the Shepherd and fire it up again to return to their own Earth. The longer they stay in this alternate dimension, the more perilous their situation becomes. If their Earth learns that they're missing, it could accelerate the onset of wars. Tam hypothesizes that the Shepherd's failure might be due to an overload caused by condensation and suggests that fixing the ventilation could solve the problem. She goes off alone to check the circuits, while Schmidt works on restarting the ventilation system. For a moment, it seems like they found a solution. The ventilation system kicks back to life. But then disaster strikes on Tam's end. A water leak erupts in the barometric cabin, rapidly filling the space. Tam struggles to escape, but the door won't budge. By the time the others arrive to help, it's too late. The cabin can't withstand the pressure and bursts open. The instant the door gives way, the water inside freezes, entombing Tam in an icy tomb. Now down 2 crew members, and without Tam, their only engineer, they face the grim reality that they may never be able to fix the Shepherd and return home. In this desperate moment, Ava remembers something crucial. In Mina's world, she is an engineer. Faced with dwindling options, the crew is uncertain whether they can trust Mina. But with no other way to repair the Shepherd, they decide to take the risk. Mina agrees to help, but she has a condition. She wants all of Schmidt's research so she can fix the Shepherd in her own world. With no time to waste, they get to work. As they're preparing, Ava pulls Mina aside to ask about her version of Earth. Ava can't fathom how she could bear to stay on Earth in a world where her children had died in a fire. Mina reveals that in her world, Ava's children are alive and well, which is why she never left for the space station. Meanwhile, Mundy suggests a risky move, shutting down the oxygen supply to conserve enough power to restart the Shepherd. They calculate that they'll have just 2 hours worth of oxygen left. Once the Shepherd is back online, its power can be used to restart the oxygen pump. At this crucial juncture, Ava pulls Keel aside with a heart-wrenching request. She wants to stay in this alternate world to be with her children. Keel reminds her that it's not really her world, and her children there have their own lives. But Ava is resolute, and Keel reluctantly agrees. Finally, the moment arrives to restart the Shepherd. With the oxygen supply turned off, they have just enough power to meet Mina's specifications. The tension is palpable as they prepare for what could be their last chance to return home. Just as they're on the brink of potentially solving their dire situation, another bizarre and deadly event unfolds. Mundy, who is in the oxygen cabin, experiences a strange magnetic anomaly. All his tools are magnetically pulled to the wall, and the welding material on the pipe starts to morph and stretch, gripping him like tentacles. Suddenly, an oxygen tank detaches and slams into the wall, causing an immediate explosion. Mundy is killed instantly, and the space station suffers significant damage. The stakes are now even higher. If the space station shifts from its set angle, everyone on board will perish. Faced with this grim reality, the only option is to detach the maintenance ring of the space station. Keel, Ava, and Monk head to the tail end of the station to do just that. Once there, they realize the situation is even more dire than they thought. To separate the ring, someone has to lock themselves inside it, essentially sacrificing their life. Keel, as the commander, doesn't hesitate. He seals himself inside the ring and detaches it, floating away into the endless void of space, never to return. With the space station now stabilized, they initiate the firing sequence for the Shepherd, starting the countdown. The plan is for Mina to copy all of Schmidt's data to take back to her world, while Ava plans to leave with Mina in the rescue capsule. But just as they're about to proceed, Mina reveals she has other intentions. She grabs a gun from the space station and stuns everyone. When they think they're on the cusp of a solution, Mina betrays them. She stuns Ava and initiates the launch sequence for the rescue capsule. However, Ava regains consciousness just in time to halt the launch. Mina, now armed with the firing keys after killing Monk, confronts Schmidt and knocks him down. When Ava arrives, she's baffled by Mina's actions. It turns out Mina had planned to sabotage their mission from the start. Her own space station is destroyed, her crew is dead, and she blames Ava and her team for it. In her eyes, killing the remaining crew is the only way to save the 8 billion people on Earth. A high-stakes showdown ensues between Ava and Mina in the playroom, where a video of Ava's family is still playing. Inspired by the sight of her loved ones, Ava manages to wrest control of the gun from Mina and shoots the screen. The resulting pressure change sucks Mina towards the shattered screen, and she's ejected into space, meeting a grim end. Ava then tends to the injured Schmidt, removing bullets from his body. She comes to a heartbreaking realization. Staying in this alternate world to be with her children would only cause more chaos. She can't bear the thought of the consequences. So she sends a message to her alternate self in this world, warning her to prevent the fire that took her children. She also includes detailed plans for the Shepherd particle accelerator, hoping it's the last good thing she can do for her kids. Finally, Ava and Schmidt manage to restart the Shepherd. They successfully return to their own world and re-establish contact with Earth, achieving a stable particle beam. As they prepare to return, Michael, upon hearing his wife is coming back, feels an inexplicable urge to stop them, but it's too late. As their rescue capsule descends through the clouds, a monstrous figure suddenly emerges.